Sellers are in trouble and delinquencies are rising. We're going to cover 79% of sellers wish they had listed sooner. Mortgage delinquencies are exploding, and a big thing for us to pay attention to, this negative 2% right here, is negative pending home sales under contracts are negative year over year. Weren't the buyers supposed to flood the market when the Fed dropped rates? We're going to cover a lot. And the sellers seem to be in trouble here with what's progressing in the economy and in the housing market. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Nobody has your back like Dinko The Realtor. Hit the like button. Help me get this video in front of more people. And when you do need a real estate agent in Utah, my contact information is down below in the description. Right here, let's go and take a look. 79% of current sellers wish they had listed their home sooner because they're just not getting what they want. And I've covered that sellers have been taking their home off the market at an exceptionally fast pace, meaning they're waiting for next year. And that's something that I've been hearing a lot of. Well, if every seller is waiting for next year, that means that what we can expect is this inventory is most likely going to stay elevated. And we're seeing that it's starting to uptick here. We stagnated here in the middle of summer, but now in September, we're seeing that this blue-purple line at the top is actually trending upwards. If you take a look there. Inventory is slightly increasing year over year under contracts. The pending home sales are decreasing. And now let's cover what's going on here. This is a big kicker. Mortgage delinquencies are exploding. Okay. Now, I'm going to cover what they're stating in this article here. And this is something that I've been talking about. Now, before I get to that, right here, you see bankruptcy filings rise 11.5% over the previous year. And this was as of July 31st. This was published. Now, we're seeing bankruptcies rising year over year. The car payments that people are delinquent on are at an all-time high since Fitch was keeping track of this data. Now, remember that right here, if we take a look, late car payments hit the highest level in decades. And remember, approximately 2 million auto loan borrowers had a student loan delinquency added to their credit file in Q1 of 2025. Now, let me show you what's happening on the mortgage side. Right here, if we take a look, Vantage Score and Investopedia both say that what lenders are currently witnessing is true. Early delinquencies are rising faster than any other type of consumer debt. Again, lenders are currently witnessing is true. Early delinquencies are rising faster than any other debt from consumer credit. Now, we're seeing that the car industry is being hit. We're seeing that the student loans are wreaking havoc on that. And now we're seeing that people with mortgages are starting to feel this as well. Now, the stress is real. It's coming on early and it's going faster than most investors think. Now, this reality reframes the macro picture. Macro is the bigger picture. So essentially, your macroeconomics is the United States. Your microeconomics is Utah. Also, macroeconomics could be the state of Utah. Salt Lake is your micro. So essentially, macroeconomics. So right here, macro picture. So it confirms what many investors have felt beneath the surface. This isn't just about high interest rates or inflation fatigue. It's about behavioral collapse. The U.S. consumer is no longer just stretched, they're snapping. So right there. And for all of the soft landing talk, this is a hard truth that we're witnessing in the early stages of credit deterioration cycle. This right here, credit deterioration cycle. That is the big thing to pay attention to, and something that I've been saying was going to happen with these student loans rising as well as the cost of living. Now, with the student loans coming back, we're seeing that, and the car industry is not doing great. Now, I talked to somebody who works for one of the biggest car dealerships in the state here, and he was saying that they're not selling that many cars. I met him a couple of years ago. I actually bought my car from him back in 2016, and he was at the wedding that I was at on Saturday, and he was telling me that they only sold 110. It was pretty loud, but I believe it was 110 total vehicles, used and new, below, and I believe he said below 100 new vehicles, where they were usually selling almost 300, into 200s when everything was just flying off the shelves when it came to cars. So pay attention to that as well. Now, if we take a look over here, we're seeing that this inventory is growing, and that should continue the trend. Especially this right here is the big thing to pay attention to, is under contracts right here are negative year over year. Now, before I dissect this a little bit further, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, and when you do need a real estate agent in Utah or anybody that you know, my contact information is down below in the description. I'll take care of them, sellers, buyers, whoever it is. Right here, we see that the under contracts are declining. And if inventory is hitting at a higher pace year over year and pendings are decreasing, is this line going to continue increasing into September and into October? And so we see that it's stagnated here, but now it's increasing and going upwards again back toward 14,000. So we'll see if we do hit that, and but we'll be paying attention to this. So this is just preliminary, but we'll be paying attention to what's happening with the under contracts, those pending home sales. Now, look at the mortgage rates right here. Let me remove myself. They were falling down, just falling, and look at them just spiking back up. Essentially, the Fed, this happened last year. The Fed did a rate cut. Instead of interest rates coming down, the steep upwards was actually bigger than the steep downwards. Now, don't get me wrong, we were coming down here from the 6.5s, and we came down almost all the way down towards 6, and now we're above 6.25. So essentially, we have lost majority of those interest rate gains after the Fed actually cut the Fed rate. So this is only good news for the banks, because the Fed rate is what banks pay to one another to borrow money. So this is the banks paying to borrow this money. Essentially, their margins are now bigger because, well, the Fed rate is down, so they're paying less of a interest rate. However, they're charging the consumer still the same interest rate. Bunkers. It doesn't make sense anymore. So what we're going to do is a recap here. And I'm going to give you a little bit more information, a little bit more context into this. 79% of current sellers wish they had listed their home sooner, not indicating that things are great. And if everybody's waiting for the beginning of next year, where's the market going to end up? Are we going to continue seeing a spike in this inventory year over year? And with interest rates not coming down, that's not going to flood the market with buyers. And however, we know that it's not only buyers that are sensitive to interest rates, so are sellers, because there are a lot of sellers out there that want to sell and buy something else, but they can't, not with these interest rates. And we see mortgage delinquencies are exploding, and we see that the credit deterioration cycle has started, and that what we're witnessing is the mortgage industry is seeing delinquencies. Now, the COVID mitigation program that should be falling off here at the end of this month, we know they put something else in place. However, this is something to keep an eye out on. And I am seeing an uptick in short sales, in the amount of short sales that are on the market. So maybe I'll make a video about that as well. And then right here, we're seeing that these bankruptcies are rising year over year. The late car payments hit the highest level in decades. We see that approximately just from Q1, quarter one, 2 million loan borrowers had a student loan delinquency added under car loan. So we're seeing that the market, the economy, is continuing to deteriorate. Now, when you do need a real estate agent in Utah, or anybody that you know, my contact information is down below. Reach out to me, have them reach out. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit that like button. Help this video get in front of more people so that they can see what's happening in the Utah housing market and the economy as a whole.